Let's get it. We live in this boy. We're going to talk about the three most common mistakes that people make when sharing their story. So, if you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. Type what's up in the chat. Type Florida, New York, Africa, wherever you're watching from. Would love to know where you're tuning in from. Again, we're talking about the three most common mistakes that people make when sharing their story. You all know the importance of storytelling and its ability to influence behavior, whether you're looking to generate sales for a business or you're looking to just make an impact and influence people who are struggling with patterns or particular problems that you can lead them through because you've overcome them yourselves. Storytelling is one of the most effective means that we have to be able to do that. They say people will forget facts, but they'll remember stories. There's so much, body of wisdom and work that teach us about the importance of stories. And today, I more so want to focus on our personal stories. What's up, Carrie? I more so want to focus on our personal stories, and what I see is the common mistakes that people make when they're telling their personal story. Okay, and a lot of this is you can, apply to like general storytelling, but let's stay focused because I believe your personal story is one of your most powerful assets that you have, against the enemy, or one of the most powerful assets you have against self-defeating talk, one of the most powerful assets you have in your business development and growth and ability to generate interest in your offers or even to close. A lot of sales is basically storytelling. It is a story process. Number one reason why people struggle is because they don't think about the outcome of their story. So typically it sounds like this. Like, I know I want to tell my story, Daryl, and I just want help with the specific parts that, make sense, that are the most important for people to hear so that, I just know which points I'm supposed to hit and that the story's, cohesive and it sounds good and excellent, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so you want to know which details and parts of your story to emphasize in order that it sounds good and does all the things. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, the details that you emphasize are determined by the outcome that you want to create. And so what they're coming to me thinking that they want is like, man, I just want to know exactly the lily pads I'm supposed to hit so that I can get it in and get it ingrained in me. And then I just rip it and I just do my thing and I hit these points. But what happens is two things. Number one, they get in front of a variety of audiences. It's not the same audience. Even if it's like a similar avatar, it's a different environment, different setting. So that happens. Or while they're giving their story, things happen. People chime in. Somebody stands up and walks in the back. It throws them off that memorization of the specific points that they thought would help them feel better about their story. And then they're like trying to like recite something. Y'all listen, I had my story down pat, and I'll never forget doing a altar call actually, and I had it just like down pat of how I was going to make this invitation for people to put their faith in Christ. And it was like, y'all know I'm a suicide survivor. God sent two angels into a psychiatric care facility to tell me that I need to say yes to him. So, because he knew that I would be standing here today in front of you, so that telling you the same things that those angels said to me, will you say yes to God? Right? I just had it down pat. It worked. Thousands of people would come to Christ. I'm not talking about like droves of thousands in one setting. I'm talking about over years, several thousand people came to Christ because of that story, right? And I had it down pat. I had what people thought that they want when they come. But here's the thing. It got overly memorized. And yeah, was it still emotional? And yeah, did it still make an impact? Yes, 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 yes. But what happened is because I wasn't clear on an outcome and I was rehearsing a script, it was disconnected. It was not, there was something missing, y'all. And this is the sad part about this, is that I was the only one that was really noticing it. People were just like, oh my God, that was amazing. They were crying. But I, in the inside, felt like, man, I just got up there and told the thing and did the show, but I didn't really like express it. So what you're looking for is not just the specific spots of your story to tell so that you can memorize it and have it all ingrained in you. What you're looking for is a skill to cultivate. That is, how do I continue to know the outcome of the different audiences that I'm speaking in front of, and then strategically designing the details of my story to match those outcomes so that it's more likely that I achieve them. So that's how we intentionally design our stories. So if you're starting your storytelling with, what should I say? And what part should I emphasize? And you're not starting your story with, what's the outcome that I want? And because of the outcome that I want, what are the specific details that I need to emphasize in order to achieve the outcome? It's a minor tweak, but it makes a major difference. Okay. So the first mistake that people make when they don't tell powerful stories is they don't have an outcome in mind. Okay. The second problem that they have. Don't. Culture Code. What's up, homie? We just met today. It's good to see you. Fem City in the house. What's up? Angie, I see Jonah Murray in the building. Y'all told Jonah Murray stop playing around and come to our 9-4 event and drop some bars on us, bro. Anyways, number 2, they're faking emotions instead of feeling the emotion. Okay. Let me add another word. They're faking or forcing an emotion instead of feeling emotion. Okay. Here's what I mean. It's like, y'all, that same story I told you about my overcoming suicide, I had down pat, and it got to the point to where I could say it, that I went through this dark depression and overcame it. And I could say it without like having an emotional reaction. And because I'm such I try to be such an authentic person, I felt like, I don't know what to say. I felt grieved. Like, I'm telling this really heavy story about how I faced these dark emotions, but I'm not like crying because of it. Like, when I first started telling it, it was like, man, I couldn't even get through the story, and people would just feel so touched and connected and all this stuff. But now I've told it so many times, it's not even moving me. Yo, I see this a lot in leaders. Some of you talk about your pain as if it wasn't even painful. And that's what I was talking about. It was like, I was saying suicide survivor, and I was talking about shoving pills down my throat, and I was saying it out. And in my early days, it was like I was trembling in fear of just acknowledging that I went through that. But after I spoke, several dozens, couple, maybe like 100 times, it was like, man, I could tell that thing, and it's like, I don't even feel anything when I'm saying it. It's just like, yeah, it happened. And I was concerned that I would never really access like authentic emotions for something that was so deep within me. And I thought that I had to fake the emotion, but I didn't realize I needed to feel the emotion. Come on, can y'all help me? Can somebody just type "feel" in the chat? Come on, B-Dabs. My wife's watching. Anybody, type. Come on, type "feel" in the chat. Come on, Amanda, a feel in the chat. And the reason why is because we want to force an emotion. We want to talk about an emotion, but we don't want to feel an emotion. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Amanda. I see you. Feel an emotion. Come on, Fem City. Feel an emotion. Like, feel. Not tell me what happened. Feel what happened. And so I was trying to like conjure up these emotions. And I was trying to be like, let me make myself overly sad. Let me try to extra emote. And I was just trying to force it. Like, it wasn't an authentic feeling. And I had to learn, slow down. Deep breath. The truth is, there was some emotions that were there. I just got tired of feeling them over and over again. But here's the problem with not wanting to feel your emotions, because you don't want to get emotional or unravel on stage or whatever, because I tell people all the time, I don't cry pretty. When I cry, it's an ugly, snotty, messy cry. So I'm like, God, if you're just going to call me to do this and make me an emotional person, man, dude, you could at least gave me them like cute tears, one little cute boy. but I'd be getting all sweaty. If we don't feel our emotions, we'll never be able to lead people out of the pain that they are in. Because in order to lead people out of the pain that they're in, we've got to be willing to feel the pain that we were once in. Let me say it again. In order to lead people out of the pain that they're in, we have to be willing to feel the pain that we were once in. We feel not because we're trying to force. We feel not because we're trying to fake. We feel because we know that it is at that linchpin of the feeling. When our life changed. Oh, I bet you if I had the time to survey everybody on this live stream right now and I asked you, when was your turning moment? When was your breaking point? I bet you there would be a well of emotion that would come out from you when you told about that breaking point, about that breakthrough, about that pivotal moment in your life, and it was full of emotion. So we have to just feel into those moments because we give people the awareness that we can relate. We know what that pain feels like. There was people who, if I didn't feel into the emotions of what it was like to be suicidal, they would have never known that I could have related to such dark depression. They would have thought that I was just like a motivational woo-woo guy. But the moment I opened my heart and allowed myself to feel again, I noticed something, man. It wasn't that I lost it. It wasn't that I needed to fake it or force it. It was that I had to allow myself to feel it. And I had to do that out of pure love for the people I could reach. Because to be honest with you, I don't like feeling the emotions. Come on, somebody. Come on. Me too in the chat if that's you too. I don't like feeling the emotions. Oh my God. I don't even like talking about them most times. I like to avoid them. I like to act like they didn't happen. I like to pretend I'm not bothered. But boy, do I not want to feel those emotions again. I hate feeling that moment when I was depressed. I hate feeling when I shove pills down my throat. I hate feeling that. But if I don't allow myself to feel, I can't heal. Someone who's feeling the same way that I felt. So allow yourself to feel so that you don't make the mistake of trying to fake or force an emotion instead of feel one. So the first mistake that people make when sharing their story is that they don't know their outcome. The second is that they try to force or fake an emotion instead of feel an emotion. And the third is that they never think through their transitions. They get so worried about what to say, what I'm going to say, and they never think about what's in between what they want to say. It's like, here's my points, here's my stories, here's my talk. And they never like flushed it out enough to be like, here's how I'm transitioning from thought to thought, from point to point. You know, I learned from one of my mentors, study yourself full, think yourself clear, pray yourself hot, let yourself go. And so study yourself full, think yourself clear, think through your transitions. People will tell these great stories and then they'll be like, done. And they'll be like, now on to the next one. Okay. Or they'll be talking you through the aspects of their story. And it's like, it's good, but they go from one scene to the next. And it's like, then what happened? And then I did this. And then I did this. And all their transitions are, and then I. Like, I get it, y'all. It used to be a big struggle of mine because I was so like confused. I got ADHD and all this stuff. Is like I was so confused by the details of the story. Is like I was just trying to figure out like what was my points and stories, like let alone trying to like memorize transitions, right? But the point isn't that we memorize transitions. The point is that we practice the skill set of transitioning so that it's easier for us to do so organically while we're telling our stories on stages, online, in person, wherever. Okay. So, practically speaking, one of the things that helped me was writing it out. Okay. When I wrote out my speeches, it wasn't for the sake of trying to memorize it. It was for the sake of working on the skill of connecting point A to point B in a way that wasn't cheesy or indoctrinated from bad communication patterns from people I watched. Just doing what everybody else say, opening up the service. I want to thank everybody, giving glory to God. And it's like, why are you doing that? Like, that's why. If somebody never told you to do that, you would have never done it. Like, you're just running a repeat thing because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Sorry. And I don't mind it if it's authentic for you, but if it's just indoctrination, then no. Okay. And maybe I shouldn't have used a religious example. So I can use a one that we say all the time. When we open our, I'm going to confuse people talking about speech openings. Let me stay talking about transitions. Here's one. So I say all that to say, and then they try to transition, right? So I say all that to say, or, well, now that we talked about this, let's talk about that, or so how does this all connect? Like they're trying to figure it out themselves. Like, why did I just tell that story? So how does this all connect? Right? Like we got these bad transition habits when we just haven't practiced transitioning from point to point. So the reason why I wrote it out word for word was so that I can just practice the skill of transitioning from point to point and figure out like, how would I authentically do that? And, writing it through was easier than thinking it through because, there's too much emotion that I didn't have mental clarity when I thought it through, but journaling was just easier because I wasn't trying to talk and think through a new skill at the same time. I was just trying to work on the transition. So writing it out helped, talking it out helped. I'm like, okay, so how does this all connect? If I couldn't say that, what else could I say? Well, I could, I just talked about storytelling, so I could just re-emphasize what I talked about and then introduce the next point. So instead of me being like, so say all that to say, or then this, I can just go, hey, so we were just talking about storytelling. I was talking about point number 1 and point number 2 and how that was important. And this is a important distinction because if we don't understand how to do X, we'll never understand how to do Y. Which brings me to my third point. See that? Okay, so you got to talk it out. Okay, and just people get so overwhelmed. I don't know what to say, and they don't know what to say because they're not trying to say it. You don't know what to say by figuring it out up here. You know what to say by talking it out through here, your mouth. Okay, you got to. If you're not watching video, then that didn't make any sense. What I said, you don't do it through thinking, pointing at my head. You do it through talking, pointing to my mouth. One of my mentors used to say, clarity is the process of expression. And so you got to talk this thing out and through so you get used to what your authentic transition styles are or phrases. And then you just get your go-to things that you use on a consistent basis. And so that's what I wanted to give to you, okay? Because I think if you can kind of clean up these 3 areas that are the most common mistakes I see people make when they're telling their stories, that it will really help you to tell more effective, more powerful, more meaningful, impactful stories. I remind you that storytelling is one of the most effective means to shift and change behavior. And if you want to make a positive impact in someone's life and influence them out of toxic or even just limiting behavior patterns, storytelling is one of the most valuable skills to invest in. So let's repeat. Number 1, we're gonna design our outcomes. Number 2, we're gonna feel emotions, not fake or force emotions. And number 3, we're gonna walk or talk out our transitions. I said walk. We're going to write out or talk out our transitions instead of not thinking through them at all. Okay. I hope you found this helpful, y'all. Um, I want to get into doing more content for y'all, but obviously we're running a lot of events, doing a lot of activities, and I speak on stages. So, we just cut up the content and send it to you. But I just love actually really connecting with you. It was good to see many of you here live. If you are tuning into this replay, just hashtag replay, let me know. What's your number one takeaway, man, out of an outcome, out of faking versus feeling an emotion, and thinking through your transitions? Where are you the weakest? Where's there the greatest opportunity for you to grow? Because this is about an infinite ascent, not a destination that we arrive. So I'm in this to grow infinitely. I hope that you are too. I love being a student of this work, because if I can continue to get better and influence the behaviors that I want to shift on this planet just 2% more because of my ability to articulate, then I'm willing to put myself through that work of learning and relearning and unlearning and relearning and learning and unlearning and relearning and whatever I need to learn in order to become who I need to be, to do my best to sow seeds of greatness into the world. So that's it, man. Tap in, stay connected, go tell powerful stories. Peace.